Peace. This is Amun Asha Renew from AshaRenew.com. The question that is posed is, what is the state of the earth currently? So, in order to answer this question, I have drew 3 cards from the tarot, each to symbolize a different dimension of the earth. The first card will represent the metaphysical plane, or the inner earth, where we find the elementals. Next, we will represent the surface of the earth, or humanity. Lastly, the extra physical earth, or the spirit plane, where the deities, the sky gods and goddesses, so on and so forth. So if we look before us, the first card that we see is the Hierophant, which represents traditions and culture, especially rituals performed daily. Taurus is all about preserving those traditions and those cultures, being as though we see the Hierophant in reverse. We see the message from the inner earth, the elementals, are to allow those customs and traditions to be renewed. Release them. Release attachment to the old reality, as it will no longer be like it was. So we should instead focus on what is and what will be, which will be completely different than what was. So when we redirect our energy towards that adjustment of customs and traditions and ritual, we begin to forge that divine sight that we most of the time miss, trying to hold on to things that no longer serve us. The card symbolizing humanity is the 7 of Wands. Because we are dealing with the suit of Wands, this takes us to the element of fire, the salamanders, the fire elementals, the jinn. The message from humanity, we see a figure with his sights directed towards the earth, and he is using the tools of the earth to dig deeper into the earth. So humanity is focused upon the earth and not the stars currently. So there is a greater focus on earthly resources. Humanity's desires are fixated on earthly resources that is attached to their emotions, because our emotions are invested into the earthly resources. So humanity has its focus on how these resources are being allocated. Is it just? Is it fair? So the figure seeks answers from the resources of the earth rather than the stars. Because if we look at the message from the stars, the extra physical plane, the extraterrestrial plane, we see that the stars are calling for an complete metamorphosis of desire, as the ace represents purification without form to give new form. So when we direct our energy towards readjusting our desires so that we stop seeking the resources from the earth, we instead seek the resources from the soul force, our own essence, so that we can feed on our own selves, because we are able to generate from the nothingness. So we do not need anything other than self. However, we can be tricked and we can be lied to in order to make us believe different. But the soul controls the body. So when the soul is fed, the body will be fine. But when the body is fed and the soul is not, it will create an imbalance within, even if you are externally comfortable. So with these jewels, with these messages, release, detachment, and purification are the key words. Release attachment to old tradition, because they are keeping you distracted from the actual reality, because they are good at stimulating emotion and sensation and feeling. People want to maintain their comforts and what makes them feel good. So when you redirect and readjust your desires so that they are allocated towards universe B versus universe A, when you focus on the new resources that are being generated versus the old resources, new currency versus old currency, and with that insight, peace can be gained.